I've known this inductee for a long time and have been friends with them for the past 2 years. This inductee has led his peers on sports teams like golf and tennis and in the theater. He's a part of student council and has been selected for groups and organizations like the Academic Ambassadors Leaders Summit, and Rotary Youth Leadership Awards. They help serve their own community here at EA through Big Brother Big Sister, the larger local community through a Reading Buddies partnership with the school, and outside of their own community through participating in service trips over spring break for the past 2 years. Theater, sports, and their attitude in their academics help shape this inductee's character, which has been honored by their teachers with awards as early as 8th grade. Throughout all of this inductee has still managed to remain humble, listing improvements for himself, such as getting more involved with different service trips. Being friends with this inductee has been a privilege, and it is my honor to welcome my castmate and friend, Aaron Kirk, into National.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Claire Nolan, and it is my pleasure to welcome Vanch Haridas into the National Honor Society. For the past few years, I've been able to get to know Vanch, and I'm honored to call him my friend. Vanch has been at Elgin Academy since pre-kindergarten, and his character shows that he has grown into a humble, kind, and honest person. He is not afraid to take risks or to make mistakes. Vanch is always learning to grow, and he yearns to learn how to better his character. He is always asking himself, how can I do better? Vanch isn't afraid of constructive criticism. His enthusiasm to grow is proven in his ability to ask for help. He believes in the value of trust and respect, and he works hard to retain those of his peers and teachers. Since becoming the leader for the environmental club, he has proven his leadership skills time and time again. His passion to inspire others and his care for the environment is evident. Since freshman year, his service to the community has benefited EA in numerous ways. Vanch is a member of the International Thespian Society, Improv, and the Environmental Club, and Students Allied for Equality. His participation has been nothing shy of enthusiastic. He has been a participant in the discussions of social justice, mental health awareness, and feminism. Independently, Vanch has been communicating with others to combat the use of derogatory language amongst his peers. He understands the importance of expressing ideas without invalidating those of others. At Elgin Academy, Vanch has taken away valuable insight and shows tremendous scholarship through his academia. Vanch has a secular outlook and a passion to learn more. Both in and outside of the class, he has found ways to research, discuss, and ask questions. It is these skills that made him the perfect candidate for NHS. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Vanch Haridas into the National Honor Society.
I remember when I was an inductee, that I was sitting right where you were. And I have to be honest, I was a little worried about what my inductor was going to say about me. You really should be too. I'm just kidding. To best describe Brian, I went to interview some of the sophomore class and a few of his teachers. When I asked Brian's peers to describe him with one word, they said, funny, vocal, and energetic. His teachers called him a leader, kind, and hardworking. Brian has shown serious dedication to his studies. In class, he participates and voices his ideas. Ryan effectively utilizes his free time in school to complete his work, demonstrating excellent study practices for others to follow. Last year, during the service trip to Nicaragua, everyone was working in groups to teach English to the local kids. Each group was given at least one Spanish speaker as its leader, except for Ryan's. In the absence of their leader, he stepped up to lead his group. Ryan set an example by keeping a positive attitude and maintaining his group's focus on the task at hand. This trip was not just an example of his service to the community, but his affinity as a leader. Another opportunity where Ryan has been able to showcase his character and his involvement in both the golf and tennis team. As part of his time playing at EA, Ryan has shown hard work and sportsmanship. Ryan, you stand where I stood a year ago, and I welcome you tonight as you become a new member of the Elgin Academy National Honor Society.
This person eats, sleeps, and dreams about basketball. Samuel Bachman. If you ask me how I would describe Samuel, I would say he is passionate and extremely hardworking. I've had the opportunity to have one class with him for the past 2 years, and I can assuredly tell you that he never gives up. Samuel is a vocal leader in class and isn't afraid to help others struggling. He also brings an energetic attitude, ready to learn, which rubs off on his peers. Samuel translates this passion and work ethic to his athletic side as well. I was fortunate enough to have him as a teammate for basketball last year, and I was surprised to see a freshman that had such a love for the game. Sammy Buckets, as we would call him, would not hesitate one bit to call out or make suggestions to his teammates. He held everyone accountable on the team and overall had an enormous positive impact. Samuel has also turned into a tremendous leader. He has served for the past 2 years on athletic council, which allows him to coordinate and promote school activities such as the dodgeball tournament. He is able to gather fellow students to attend these events, supporting the school spirit and community. Samuel is held accountable as a leader on the academic side due to him being a recipient of the Hilltopper Merit Scholarship. He encourages others not only the importance of grades, but the actual knowledge you get from taking these courses. When he needs help, he shows importance of receiving feedback from his teachers and his peers. He is clearly able to manage any obstacle thrown his way, and he'll come to class prepared to learn. Finally, Samuel is extremely involved in service work. Thanks to his parents, Samuel spent parts of his vacations giving back to the community he visited. He helped organizations like Habitat for Humanity, where he helped build homes and met with locals. When he was 6 years old, Samuel helped guide newborn sea turtles to the ocean with his involvement in the Barbados Sea Turtle Project. He had created a love for nature, which lasts with him today. Samuel continued this passion by serving as a shed steward, and last year he was selected to join the Shed High School Lake Ecology program. He has also attended the service trip at the school for the past 2 years, where he went to the Dominican Republic and Nicaragua to help Outreach 360 carry out their mission of teaching young children English. Samuel has always had a positive attitude to help others in need. To make an impact locally, Samuel has started his own annual trip to Chicago to hand out hot food in the winter. I have personally got the chance to join Samuel on this trip, and it is truly remarkable how many lives he is able to touch in that one day. Welcome, Samuel.
I've known this inductee ever since she was 4 years old, and I'm so thankful to have seen her grow up into the girl she is now. We went from running around playing tag to running across campus and taking finals. Hareem is so deserving of becoming a part of NHS. She represents the pillars of NHS through her involvement in EA student ambassadors, Art for a Cause, her local magazine, Boulder Ridge Life, and her dedication to her rigorous courses, including honor classes and an AP class. Hareem is an incredibly hard worker, as evidenced by the amount of effort she puts into her commitments and into her academics, whether that be meeting with teachers outside of the classroom or helping her classmates. She isn't afraid to ask for help or put herself out there in order to gain the most she can from her classes. She is a true intellectual with a talent for writing. Her articles in the cupola are so informative, and she's always willing to volunteer to write the more challenging pieces, or the pieces no one wants to write, like US News. Hareem's service by far astounds me the most. Last year, with her involvement in Do-Gooders, they were able to donate $300 to Food for Greater Elgin. She also painted a portrait for a less fortunate girl for an Art for a Cause project. Not only is Hareem a talented student and volunteer, she has one of the most pure hearts. Anytime I see her, whether that be in the quad or in the hallways, she always greets me with a smile. You are such a kind and supportive friend, and I cannot wait to hear about what you do after this year and beyond. Congratulations and welcome to NHS.
Hi everyone. I was going to try to keep this a secret, but I think Maddie knows by now since we are almost the last to go. When reading through her application essay, I was very surprised that she said she struggled with leadership, because this was one of the first words that came to mind when reflecting upon her. Leadership, along with her humble character and genuine soul, were the words that I found most accurately described her. I contemplated writing down the words spectacular or outstanding, but quickly scribbled those out because she would not be here today if she weren't those things. I chose genuine mainly to describe her work ethic, inside and outside of the classroom. With several hours a week dedicated to volleyball, weekends filled with day-long tournaments, and a hefty workload consuming her time, there is no denying the immense quality and organization in her work. I chose the word humble because the list of achievements and awards that Maddie holds is incredible, and I bet nobody here knows what they are. In one season alone, Maddie was able to break 2 records for her outstanding defense on the varsity team volleyball, and she was still a sophomore, and one of them was her own because she broke the other one freshman year, so let's put it out there. This brings me to leadership. Anyone who knows Maddie knows that her quiet nature does not stop her from having such a strong impact on people and teammates around her. With that, it is my pleasure and honor to welcome Ms. National Honor.
So Reese, you're here. Reese had originally told me that he wasn't going to be here at all tonight. It turns out you were able to make it. And as a consequence, we didn't have a student because I thought, I'm not going to ask a student to write a speech for someone who's not going to be here. But I think that that's what I would like to highlight about Reese in my impromptu induction for you, which is that during spring break, I emphasize spring break, I get an email from Reese asking about this ceremony. And I said, I don't know if we're going to be able to move it around. It is what it is. And in subsequent emails, it became clear that it wasn't that Reese was so much asking me to do something about the ceremony. He was taking responsibility for his own induction because he was concerned that maybe if he wasn't here tonight, he actually wouldn't be a member of National Honor Society. And I said, no, don't worry. You're doing something for the school. There's a reason why you can't be here, and it's a team sport. It's a big deal. catcher, you know, I mean, it's okay. But that echoes what I heard in the committee room. As the NHS advisor, I don't actually get to vote on any of the applications. I just get to run the meeting and hear from, you know, people you've already had as teachers and people who've seen you around school. And that's part of what I kept hearing, is that what makes Reese outstanding as a sophomore is his sense of responsibility for himself, for others, the seriousness with which he takes everything he does inside and outside of the classroom. And I think that that's what makes you an outstanding member of the sophomore class, and somebody who emphasizes or I should say embodies the four pillars of NHS: scholarship, character, leadership, and service. So Reese, you're going to follow me down the table, right? On the front, I'll be in the back, and welcome to NHS.
Okay, so now I'm just going to talk about a little bit about National Honor Society as a whole and why it's such an honor for the new inductees tonight and for the members of National Honor Society from previous years. So National Honor Society is exactly what the name states, an honor. The society is upheld by four pillars: scholarship, character, leadership, and service. When I wrote my application for NHS, I received the guidelines for the paper that I would have to write to be evaluated for induction. At first, I was worried, how was I supposed to write about myself in all of these different areas? But as I began to write, I realized that Elgin Academy has provided opportunities for me to shine in all of these respects. The opportunities afforded to us as students prime us to be outstanding members in our community, and therefore prepare us within these pillars long before we realize it. Scholarship has always been a focus and a necessity at Elgin Academy. We are taught to focus on our academics, be proud of our work, and ask for help when necessary. Character is a core expectation of the Academy. Students are held responsible for their actions, given the opportunity to participate in activities that enhance and showcase their passions, and the space and attention to grow into ourselves throughout high school. Leadership is always encouraged, whether it be in the classroom, leading discussions and projects, theater, other co-curriculars, or in clubs, where students are given the opportunity to lead and learn how to manage not only time and activities, but also the people they're working with. Service is encouraged at EA, and there are ample opportunities to participate. From Big Brother, Big Sister to service trips, PADS, Kids for Kids, and many others, students can find their calling and use it to display the other pillars, such as leadership and character. Elgin Academy provides opportunity for students to grow in the key areas that NHS values and prepares us for the world ahead, which is why the students who were inducted tonight should be very proud of the work they have done. Thank you for coming tonight and recognizing this year's National Honor Society inductees, and congratulations to all of you. Thank you.
Before I offer a few closing remarks, I'd like to recognize Cameron Agno, who snuck in right before Reese did, both in alphabetical order and because they were both at the baseball game. I'd like to close the night with a different emphasis than what we heard from Mr. Sept, who mentioned a lot about leadership. And Maddie, you hit on all four of the pillars, but I'd like to talk a little bit about service. And one of the things that makes NHS a little bit different from the other opportunities for service at EA is that when we do something like our service trips, that's a very specific kind of service that extends our life here at EA beyond campus. When you think about PADS, when you think about Soup Kitchen, Kids for Kids, Art for a Cause, all of those things, it's about this community, whether members of NHS or not, extending beyond the campus. And what I think makes NHS different is that we are called to serve not just outside of this community, but the community itself. One thing that I'm very proud of both current and former NHS members taking the initiative and doing, both this year and in previous years, is making sure that part of the service that we offer are academic services to all students, whether they are seniors, middle schoolers, whether it's finals time, the first time that a DBQ gets assigned, and there are sophomores out there saying, am I going to fail AP Euro? And the NHS members consistently step up and give up their time when they really don't have to. Free periods, lunch periods. And for you current members, I would like to ask you to simply continue your efforts. But for you new members, keep in mind that that is what you're going to be asked to do, is to give some of those experiences, those skills, that knowledge, that expertise that you have as students, and give back to our own community to strengthen it. Because all of the opportunities that we have for service off campus are fantastic, and they're really important. But first and foremost, Elgin Academy is a school, right? And we're a place where learning takes place. And you, as some of our most accomplished learners, are called to kind of fold that learning back on itself, right? Help this school be a better school by being sort of junior colleagues to, the teachers themselves, right? As members of the National Honor Society, you are amongst the most accomplished scholars on campus. And as a consequence, you can bring that back to your fellow students, even students who are older than you, right? That it doesn't have to be, oh, I'm a sophomore, therefore I can only tutor a freshman. If there are things that you are skilled at that maybe a junior or senior could benefit from, you should feel free to either come to me or to come to a teacher and say, hey, if there's someone who needs help with a certain skill, a certain task, a certain assessment, I, as a member of the National Honor Society, am really happy to help. And so I encourage you to think about service as we go forward, both for the rest of this year and for the years to come. So on a final note, I'd like to thank you all for coming. There are some wonderful refreshments. If some of the members could go get the Izzy's and other stuff that's being kept cold. Again, thank you for coming, and congratulations to all the new inductees.